Buonasera, Mike Martin's here with the Mike Martin's channel. Thanks for joining me and being part of the channel, guys. Okay, I'm just confirming this. I just wanted to make sure this is confirmed. It's by the Daily Mail. It's coming out of Australia. And this is it. Just when you thought the middle class is getting a punch in the gut every day, everything gets worse over time. This one is dated October 27, 2021. And now it is actually making traction. I have phoned several people in Australia to confirm this. So America, you need to free Australia needs some freedom. Bring them some freedom. Maybe if Australia finds some oil, doesn't take the Timorans oil from East Timor, but finds oil in their own country, maybe America might come and free them. Who knows? So it's happening. So this is what's happening here. Thousands of Australians with unpaid fines for breaking COVID rules have their homes seized, bank accounts raided, and licenses canceled as government chases $5.2 million. I mean, only two people could sell their homes and pay that off. It's not like, it's billions of dollars, but they're going to come after the middle class. This is a direct attack against the middle class. The middle class has been derailed in every English-speaking country. 5 years ago, I was protesting to you people, get out of the cities. Get out while you can. There's major videos I put up on this 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Get out. Well, it's too late now. I mean, it's tough to get out with the borders closed and all that. Who would have imagined this would have happened as far as it did in the English-speaking pro-democracy countries? With rigged elections, and if you haven't figured out by now what's happening with the sickness, then I don't know what to tell you anymore. But, so now they're coming after people, the middle class. It's middle class they're coming after. The middle class that's protesting against this. The middle class that wants their lives back. There's a lot of countries that are, we're done with this, goodbye. Right? The death rate in Taiwan is higher with the cure, with the serum, is higher with the serum than people that died of the actual sickness itself, right? So that's going to start popping up everywhere, and there's nothing people could do about it unless something happens. And what's happening right now is the middle class in Australia has been derailed. They've been derailed since pretty much 2010, right? So lots of money being flooded in. And it's not just Australia. It's Australia, Canada, UK, New Zealand, and the blue states in America. Those places have been competing for laundered money. Money that gets brought in offshore from China, people moving their capital and bringing it to the West. This has been happening via fentanyl sales, and profits go back into real estate. And that's a huge articles written by the CBC, believe it or not. The CBC is covering articles on fentanyl sales and opioid sales that are flooding the streets and reinvested into Canadian real estate and Australia and all kinds of real estate there across English-speaking countries. So here it is. State Penalties Enforcement Register chasing $5.2 million in unpaid COVID-19 fines. Queensland Health is using SPER to crack down on 3,046 unpaid penalty notices. 2,755 fines were from individuals and businesses accused of flouting COVID rules. So they say SPER also collected $5.7 million in repayments on overdue hotel quarantine bills. So this is a direct attack on the middle class. Middle class has been completely bought out of the middle class now in Australia has been bought out of food for ages. What am I talking about? It was an article we covered on this channel. 2 years in early 2019, where homeowners in Australia have to go to the bank to get food bank vouchers, because if they buy food, they'll fall behind on their mortgages. They've already been priced out of food for years. We covered it here on the channel. You can look it up. So we've been covering this for years. So it's something that's already been happening, right? So the middle class is really, really getting shafted in Australia. So Queenslanders who receive fines for breaking the COVID-19 rules risk having their homes seized and bank accounts frozen in government crackdown to collect $5.2 million in repayments. The State Penalties Enforcement Register is expected to collect 3,046 unpaid fines from the pandemic on behalf of Queensland Health. So they're going to have to start flipping the bills because it's getting out of control, and the government expenditures is more than what their governments are spending more than what they're making, right? So they're going after the middle class, but they're not going after the banks. Second biggest bank in Australia, Westpac, to pay a record fine of 23 million money laundering terror financing breaches. 23 million, not $23 million, 23 million money laundering terror financing breaches. Now, why do I bring this up with this whole collecting? Because they're going after the wrong people. Instead of going after the criminals that bring in the fentanyl from factories that are from Chinese factories, sold on our streets to our youth, and then money's recycled back into real estate, where it just keeps going up for the last 10, 11 years, right? So that's the problem we're facing here, and that's what the problem the middle class is facing. So Australian middle class is, I made a video, would Australia exist in 20 years or 25 years? I made a video back in 2017 asking that. It's on the channel. But the problem is, I was wrong. I should have asked, is Australia going to exist in 5 years? Back in 2017, I should have asked that. Shouldn't have gone that far. But the way things were headed, and the economic takeover, and how Australia is being, middle class is being punished. They're being punished, and their parents and grandparents build the infrastructure of Australia. The European settlers that worked very hard to build, like, I can't really speak for Australia because I don't know. Canada's Portuguese, Italian, and Greek, and Polish built the infrastructure in Canada. Now, in 93, they closed immigration from Europe to Canada. I don't know how it is in Australia. I think they closed immigration from Europe and Australia, I think it was in 1995, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Comment below. So there it is right there. Instead of going after, there's 23 million money laundering breaches. You know how many people could be put in jail? But they can't put those people in jail because they're propping up the economies. So here's a Better Dwelling article. Canada would be in a recession without money laundering. Hundreds of billions of dollars laundered through Canadian real estate, and they stopped the investigation because too many people were going to end up in jail. And that would have been a major issue for Canada, because if you start arresting the people that are propping your phony economy, you end up having to a huge reset, and governments will have to find a way to reset the country. Without. And that's it, guys. I'm lost for words right now. It's getting bad, and I think it's going to get worse. I really feel bad for Australia and what's happening. And I really hope America or some other, because Australia is there on its own. And they're under the Chinese heel there, or under the foot of China. And the problem with China is they've been sanctioning Australia. If I was Australia, I would put my foot down and never sell coal or anything back to China ever again after sanctioning Australia for trying to investigate where this virus came from. Anyways, I don't know anything, guys. I'm just making this video to create a bit of awareness, because innocent people and families will be losing everything they've worked for and built, to be given to people that had nothing to do with building any of the infrastructure, and handing it over to people that pretty much don't deserve anything because they haven't worked for it. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Lots of love. God bless. We'll talk later. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.